We got to experience the Matrix Resurrections, and on the surface, we know that the real world and the Matrix exists. But what if I told you that the Matrix Resurrections prove that there is two versions of the Matrix? Let's talk about it. What's going on, Matrix fans? Welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, the Viking. Make sure you give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for a brand new video every single day. It's been a while since we did a Matrix video because of other news and movies and shows dropping, and I was busy. But I'm back to talk about the Matrix Resurrections. And if you want to know my opinion about the film, I loved it, but go check out the other theory videos that we have about the Matrix Resurrections. It's very, very interesting. There's so much to break down, and different people have different opinions because of their perception and experience with the movie, which is amazing to me because that's what film is. It's subjective. But what if I told you the Matrix Resurrections suggests that two versions of the Matrix actually exist? Now, there's an article from cheatsheet.com where it talks about this brand new theory that comes from Reddit. A Redditor explored their fan theory that the Matrix Resurrections actually points to two separate versions of the Matrix that exist. The analyst, Neil Patrick Harris, replaces the architect from the previous film installments. He explains how the Matrix is now more sophisticated than before. However, one Redditor reads a bit deeper into that. Perhaps the enhanced version of the Matrix seen in the Matrix Resurrections is actually a separate program entirely. The Matrix from the original trilogy still exists, although it isn't shown in the Matrix Resurrections. However, there's plenty of talk about Neo game programming the Matrix. Meanwhile, the second iteration of the Matrix, which the Redditor describes as pre-alpha, or a debut version of the Matrix created to determine whether a computer simulation is working correctly and fix bugs. In a sense, Neo, Trinity and others in this iteration are all beta testers. The post-credits scene only further hints at such ideas, with talk about trying new things. The analyst collects data from this test server to update the main Matrix. This also would indicate why he didn't fear Neo and Trinity changing this whole iteration. The same Redditor also points that this is the reason why Trinity now has the same abilities as Neo. She's essentially an amped up version of herself. The Matrix Awakens is a game that audiences could download starting just before the film's release. It's possible that this is another layer hinting at the Redditor's theory of game testing. Will there be a Matrix 5? There isn't any word about Matrix 5 quite yet. However, there isn't any guarantee that this is the end. Wachowski ended the Matrix Resurrections with plenty of space to continue the franchise if she wishes to do so. Additionally, a boardroom scene early on in the movie hints at potentially more sequels in the future. At this time, there aren't any immediate signs that the Matrix 5 is going to happen. That's very interesting. Really interesting, this theory, that two different versions of this Matrix actually exist, in terms of the original trilogy Matrix is still there somewhere, but we have this test version of the Matrix here as well, which we see in the Matrix Resurrections, where the analyst does trial and error to see what works and what doesn't to create the best possible Matrix from the original trilogy. And we've talked about this before, where the analyst is working for the suits, and the reason he's in this position is because he created the best possible version of the Matrix. He never said that this is the best possible version of the Matrix. He could be talking about the other version of the Matrix. And there's also theories out there that Neo can never escape the Matrix, really, because this is all planned by the analyst. And at the end of the Matrix Resurrections, the analyst wasn't that afraid of Neo and Trinity when they said they were going to rebuild his world. He wasn't fazed by it at all. They flew off. Happy ending. Of course, the Matrix 5 could come and new stories could happen. But what if this is what the analysts wanted? To make Trinity and Neo think that they're free and that they've saved everybody from this Matrix, when the analyst actually has the real Matrix somewhere else. It's definitely very interesting. And in the movie of the Matrix Resurrections, we see Morpheus on a loop, we see Neo on a loop as well, doing the same thing over and over again, breaking down because they're sick of this lifestyle that they live again and again. And it's not just this version of the Matrix that we see Thomas Anderson. Yes, he's living the same day over and over again, going to work, showering, going to the gym, this constant cycle of working for this game company, developing games. He's not happy whatsoever. He's tried to kill himself. But that isn't just one Matrix. This has happened for 60 years. Because the Matrix Resurrections takes place 60 years after the last film, and the analyst was there when Neo made the truce with the machines. His body was taken away, and we found out it was taken away by the analyst, who thought of an idea to make this perfect Matrix with Neo's body. And over the 60 years, he experimented on Neo. He rebuilt Neo, who's probably more robot than man right now, and only eventually did he figure out that he needed Trinity and Neo to make the best possible power, but they couldn't be too close together. Trial and error over 60 years. So Neo, Thomas Anderson, has been living in this cycle of the Matrix for 60 years. That's why he's depressed. That's why he understands that this is not right. So can Neo actually escape this Matrix? If he tried the last 60 years to be awoken, it never happened, it never worked, nobody could find him. What if the analyst planned all of this out? Maybe this is a cycle where Neo discovers that it's not right, this isn't the real reality of my life, and he tries to escape. And he does, he succeeds every time. He gets his full potential back with Trinity, but then it resets again. Now, I don't know if I believe this theory, but it's definitely one to discuss and to theorize more about it, 100%, because we don't quite know why the analyst was so calm when Neo and Trinity came to his house, when they had their full powers, and where Trinity was basically killing him over and over again, breaking his jaw and just destroying him. This never fazed him, which scared me in the Matrix Resurrections. Was this his plan? Is this what the analyst really wanted to happen? But guys, what do you think about this theory? I don't know if I necessarily believe it, but I'm open to the idea. Do you think that two versions of the Matrix exist? The real Matrix from the original trilogy, and in the Matrix we see in the Matrix Resurrections, where the analyst uses this Matrix for trial and error to see what works in the real Matrix. And he traps Neo in this one. It's interesting. It's definitely one to ponder. But guys, thanks for watching. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and get into the comment section. Let me know your thoughts on this, about this theory. Do two versions of the Matrix exist in the Matrix world now, thanks to the analyst? Guys, thanks for watching. See you in the next video.